Dear UWC Dilijan community, dear benefactors, members, 5th anniversary committee members, and scholarship holders, welcome to this truly special event, given the circumstances. I should say that it's such an honor for me to be in this Zoom call with all of you, and I'm truly excited to be the host of this event. Today, the class of 2020 was supposed to have their graduation, which had to be held spontaneously in March. I myself was supposed to have a graduation that was postponed because of COVID-19 situation. But as a community, we stand strong. We decided that in spite of this adversity, we should get together and celebrate. This first half an hour, we will have a closed event with our supporters, which will go public at 6:30 p.m. Armenian time, when the global community will join us. I am Manana Hakopian, a first-generation alumna of UWC Dilijan, currently a student at UC Berkeley, actually graduated 5 days ago. I serve as an alumni representative on the 5th anniversary committee. 2019-2020 academic year is a special year in UWC Dilijan's history, not because we celebrated our 5th year anniversary, but also because our values were tested in this COVID-19 situation. But as I said, we are strong and we stand strong. UWC Dilijan's international student and staff body with its international board has its values tested while adapting to the new reality. I would like to thank Future Studio for facilitating our event today. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to invite Gabriel Abad Fernandez to say a few words of welcome. Please, Gabriel.
Okay, I cannot come on video, but if you can hear me, thank you, Manana. You're right. The 2019-2020 academic year has been, by all accounts, like no other. In spite of the situation we found ourselves in, this academic year has been very special as we're marking the 5th anniversary of our beautiful school. UWC Dilijan has been demonstrating resilience because of its vibrant community of students, the staff, parents, supporters, friends, and in spite of the current challenges, it is in a position to arise stronger from the crisis. As a philanthropic endeavor of the founders, Ruben Vardanian and Veronica Zonaven, the funding patrons, Gagika Diebekian, Nubar Anna Afeyan, Vladimir and Anna Avetisian, and Oleg Mekerchen, who set a goal for the school to become a center of educational excellence, UWC Dilijan has succeeded. In 2019, to celebrate our 5th anniversary, with the support of the 5th anniversary committee, we mounted a campaign to raise $5 million for scholarships to enable the school to remain true to its ethos of diversity. My deepest gratitude to all committee members for giving us your guidance and expertise. We reach out to the community of far-sighted individuals and we ask them to commit to 1 scholarship a year, every year for the next 5 years. We are delighted with the response, which resulted in achieving our goal. We sincerely thank you, the 5th anniversary Circle of Benefactors, for the faith they placed in UWC Dilijan. We would like to recognize especially Nubar and Anna Afeyan, our board members, who made the lead gift. We are grateful to all the supporters who provided funds for scholarships and made other gifts over this year. A special word of thanks to our board. The school is a non-profit entity and the board, who are here with us, lead us through thick and thin. They also support the school financially, and in this instance, all of them participated in establishing the staff social fund in connection with this crisis. Given the crucial role that philanthropic gifts play in UWC Dilijan's operations, we are delighted to announce that the school founders, Ruben Vardanian and Veronica Zonaven, made a special commitment this May. They pledged to contribute over the next 5 years a significant amount to the operations of the college, including the support for innovative initiatives that can help UWC Dilijan overcome the difficulties presented by the crisis. Our deep gratitude to them for their ongoing commitment and inspiration. Let us ensure that the barriers imposed by COVID-19 will not diminish our resolve to work towards a more peaceful and equitable world. Bringing young people together to build international understanding is indeed taking a new meaning in this new reality. My sincere gratitude to all supporting us in this remarkable journey. Now you're going to meet some beneficiaries of yet tremendous benevolence. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. I too was fortunate to qualify for a scholarship for UWC Dilijan, and my scholarship was given by Ameria Leadership and Ameria Bank individuals. My sincere gratitude to all these people who gave myself opportunity to study in UWC Dilijan. Going to Berkeley, I also had opportunity to receive UWC Davis scholarship, and if Mr. Shelby Davis is with us, I want to say my sincere gratitude to him as well. He supports Dare to Dream scholarships to UWC with his 100 million commitment to all UWC schools. Thank you, everyone. So I guess now I will introduce our students who are beneficiaries of current scholarships, and you will see their perspectives of UWC Dilijan life. So let's start from Margarita Mnatsakanian. You are generously supported by Mr. Arutunian and Ms. Antonian. Tell us what the experience of UWC Dilijan has been for you.
Thank you, Manana. As you mentioned, my name is Margarita, and I'm still a DP1 student at UWC Dilijan. My UWC experience is quite different from what I was expecting from back in September, and my first term is forever stamped in my mind. I remember myself panicking over getting everything done on time, and that's when the experience started to become really challenging. And I remember telling my own parent how difficult the entire experience was. And then she asked me, how to eat an elephant? Well, indeed a very weird question, right? And I couldn't respond to that immediately. And then she told me, one bite at a time. And this one advice guided me towards success in every aspect of my UWC experience, with Daily News being the most significant highlight. Daily News is a media literacy project initiated by my friends and I, during which we have classes every Thursday of 14 people from local schools, and we teach them how to identify fake news, propaganda, and we teach them about the various different types of media. And the most memorable event in the framework of Daily News was having Narek Markaryan, an Armenian comedian, to talk about his experience as a storyteller. Indeed, this entire UWC experience could not have been possible for me if I didn't have the generous support from my donors. And I am so thankful for you guys for giving me the opportunity of changing my country for a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita Jan. This was very nostalgic to me. You took me back to UWC Dilijan. Let's go to Manas Shantaram Kulkarni. You're generously supported by Konstantin and Svetlana Nikolaevs. Please tell us what has been your most important academic achievement in your opinion.
Thank you, Manajan. I've been quite fortunate to have interacted with quite a few of the panelists here today at the FAST forum, at our 5th anniversary, and unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Nikolaev couldn't be here today. But for my academic achievements, the school was, I guess, gracious enough to let me do 7 subjects rather than the usual 6, and then to let me do 4 HLs rather than the usual 3, which was very challenging for me, but also extremely interesting to do. After working quite hard for my 3rd term, I received a predicted grade of 52 and 52, which meant I had 7s in all of my 7 subjects, which I was quite proud of. I was also extremely happy with my university acceptances. I recently found out that I'd been accepted into Harvard, Stanford, Brown, Duke, Northwestern, NYU Abu Dhabi, among a few other universities. And after a lot of careful consideration, after talking to a lot of people and a lot of advice, I've decided to enroll at Harvard, where I'll hopefully be going this fall if everything goes all right. And I'm quite excited for that. And I'd like to thank all the donors for everything they've done, not only in terms of donations, but also in terms of the opportunities that we have at our school because of the donors association with our school. So whether it's attending our FAST forum, attending all the other events that I did for the RVVZ Aurora Prize Forum, I feel like all of this exposure is so much more than simply donations itself. And so I'd really like to thank our donors for that.
Thank you, Manasjan. I should say this was impressive. Can we send you LinkedIn invitations after the meeting? I would love to connect with you. Yes. Let's go to Lily Daftian. Dilijan, you are generously supported by Mr. and Mrs. Sarkisas. Please tell us what being part of the international community means to you.
Thank you, Manana. I'm Lili. I'm from Armenia, and I'm currently DP1 student in UWC Dilijan. So international community is one of the main reasons why I applied to UWC. And like I would say that living and studying with people from 18 and more nationalities is really challenging, and it's a great experience for me because and although there are a lot of Armenians in the campus, but I have always the feeling that I'm among international students because, for example, I share my room with 3 amazing girls from Tunisia, from Portugal, from Burundi, and this is such a great experience for me because I get to share my culture and I also get to know about other people's culture. For example, I remember that during my first year, I would just I have really good conversation with my roommates about different topics about our culture. We would share food, and I also remember that I would just teach them some words in Armenian so they could just communicate with locals in Dilijan. And I also each class that I had at the international community helped me a lot to grow and also to understand the view from of people, and also to look on every problem from different perspectives. And this all just could not happen without the support that we get from our donors, for which I'm really thankful for giving me this experience and the opportunity to get to know these amazing people in the college and for having this lifetime experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dilijan. I guess we should start moving a little faster, guys, because we will go live at 6:30 p.m. and we have to do a lot of things. So Grigori Kalin, I'm going to introduce you. You're generously supported by Sberbank's charitable foundation, Investment to the Future. Please tell us about your favorite subject area of your interest.
Hello, everyone. I'm a part of the class of 2020, and now I'm in Moscow instead of Dilijan, but so it goes. So I want to talk about theater as I would say, the most favorite subject, because when I started it 2 years ago, I had it was completely unexpected to even go in that direction. I had never seen myself as an actor or anyone related to theater, but I just decided to give it a try. First lessons were awful, in my opinion, but that's just because I couldn't understand the purpose of anything. For example, we were running around with balls and passing them to each other, and I was thinking, how does that contribute to me being a better actor or director? But then at some point I just decided, okay, I'm going to trust my teacher. Whatever he tells me, I do. And after that, the experience has been completely marvelous. I even switched to HL this year. And just theater in Dilijan, it encompasses everything, and it allowed me to explore many theater practitioners. For example, we started with Stanislavski, proceeded to Meisner, and then to Brecht, and I could try aspects of their theory and compose my own pieces. And also theater in Dilijan allows you to explore all the roles in theater. I started as an actor, then we moved to as a playwright and director, and even had the chance to be a stage technician. So although in the future, I'm not necessarily seeing myself going to theater, but the collaboration and communication skills theater offers has been beyond doubt beneficial in many great ways. And I'm thanking Sberbank's Charitable Foundation for giving me an opportunity to study in UWC Dilijan.
Thank you, Grigori. Let's go to Abdikani Ahmed. You're generously supported by Mr. Belousov and Mr. and Mrs. Naritsis. Could you share your thoughts on what education in UWC Dilijan means to you?
Hello, Manana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Abdikani. I'm a first year student at UWC Dilijan, and I'm from Somaliland. Right before I came to UWC Dilijan, I have had the habit of reading books, and back at my school, I felt, I would say, not challenged, because I was actually learning things that I have read before in books. But right after I came to UWC Dilijan, I I was really challenged because of the rigorous academic tasks that are going on in daily basis, and all the other things that we do in University Dilijan. I get to work with a lot of really smart people, which was really fortunate for me because I get to learn from them, and then they get to learn from me. And I'm really thankful for this experience. And I would say thank you so much for the to my donors for their selfless support throughout my stay in UWC Dilijan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for sharing with us your stories. You're truly special. And thank you to UWC Dilijan for connecting all of us today and bringing us together. I hope that you gave the flavor of what it feels to be at UWC Dilijan. And now I would want to go ahead and start introducing our amazing supporters. I'll start from Mr. Arutyunyan. Together with his wife, Miss Antonian, they have supported the school from the very beginning. Entrepreneur, influencer, businessman, and a global Armenian, Mr. Arutyunyan has been one of the pioneers who has believed in, invested in, and impacted Armenia's future. Born and raised in Yerevan, Mr. Arutyunyan graduated from the State Engineering University of Armenia. In 1993, he moved to Moscow, Russia, where he founded and became general director of the Henderson Russia group of companies, which is currently the largest menswear retailer in Russia that manufactures its products worldwide. Mr. Arutyunyan, thank you for joining us today. You and your wife were the first people to support the 5th anniversary campaign and have been supporters from the start. Please tell us why you have been supporting the school.
Thank you, Manana. Hello, everyone. It's great news that we celebrate now 5th anniversary of UWC. And there, of course, there are a number of reasons why we support the school. First of all, this project was created and developed in my homeland, and for most of the people who in line also, I think it's very important to have such a famous educational entity in Armenia, because it's on the same time it's local and global on the same time. I believe as much as we have in Armenia such a big project, as better we can improve the life and in Armenia and worldwide. Also, as we know that one of the differentiation of UWC between other colleges, that one of the ambition of the school is create leaders, and it's too impressive when the leaders, today's leaders, like Vartanyan family, Ruben and Veronica, Nubar family, Aftian family, many others, they creating the school for future leaders. So this is, I think, it's very nice estafeta, which we could provide to them. And all of us, I believe, all of us achieve the success in their life and their fields, first because of the good education. And we believe on education, we believe on the values. And I guess this type of, let's say, work in actually work, not only speaking about nice future, but doing it. One of the big differentiation of this group who supporting the UWC. And on the end, I would like to say that my life experience showed that in the world a lot of challenge, but education not enough. You have to be leader to lead the challenge, and I believe in that the future students will be the future leaders who will go through the difficult and challenges in the life and make our work better. So I try to be, short, value all the time, but I think this is the most important thing which I'd like to share with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Artunian. And I love the fact that you said, today's leaders for future leaders. It's an amazing way of stating UWC Dilijan values and perspectives. Let's go to Mrs. Jana Greff. Mrs. Greff and her husband, Mr. Greff, CEO and chairman of board of Sberbank, are both strong believers in the power of education. They are founders of Khoroshkola in Moscow and support a number of causes related to education. Ms. Greff, thank you for being with us today. Please let us know why you think it is important to give young people opportunities to receive excellent education.
Hello, Manana. Thank you very much for your question. My husband and I are delighted to be here and to be supporting UWC Dilijan in International Center of Excellence in Education. We both feel that it is very important for young people to study together and to learn from each other, that we have more things in common regardless where we come from. We all have the same human values, and we have to learn how to respect any differences we might have and try to understand each other. And of course, the quality of education matters, and how young people are young people are taught makes a huge impact on their future lives. Giving young people from all backgrounds an opportunity to receive excellent education is a wonderful way to build a more harmonious world. Students from Russia, like Grigory, who spoke today, have a great possibility to implement his experience by return back to Russia. We are happy to play a small part in it. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Mrs. Greff. It is our pleasure to have you here. I guess the event is going live right now, and welcome UWC Global Community. This is a special event. We're here to celebrate my favorite school on earth, UWC Dilijan. I am Manana Hakopian, a first generation UWC Dilijan graduate, also a recent graduate from UC Berkeley. Right now I'm in LA, but I will take a flight in a couple hours to get back to Armenia. Very exciting times. Thank you for joining us. And we will go with our agenda, introducing our supporters because they are here today and celebrating with us UWC Dilijan. Lord Darcy holds the Paul Hamlin Chair of Surgery at Imperial College London, the Royal Marsden Hospital and the Institute of Cancer Research. He is Director of the Institute of Global Health Innovation at Imperial College London. Professor Darcy has been a member of Her Majesty's Most Honourable Privy Council since June 2009. He has been on the forefront of healthcare in the UK and internationally and is connected with a number of organizations. Lord Darcy, Chair of Aurora Prize Selection Committee. At UWC Dilijan, we have first-hand participation in the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative. Lord Darcy, thank you for joining us today. Please tell us why you decided to nominate the D.K. Darcy Scholarship.
Thank you very much, Manana. Firstly, let me just say, I hope you're all well, keeping safe, all the students in Dilijan. It's a great privilege to be joining you today. I'll also like to thank, obviously, Ruben, Veronica, Nubar, and Anna, who are with us, and Bartan in putting this together. Why did I do this? Well, it took me back to last year. I attended the amazing celebrations last year, which was probably the most touching thing I've attended. And the reason I was touched with it, because it reminded me when I was a teenager going to school, or what you're calling a college, the two most important things in my life, what I remember from my parents, specifically from my mum, was the culture in which I was brought up in, which was all about education, education, education. And then the second, well, actually the first would have been, I am Armenian and I have always to be an Armenian. And my mother's dream was I get decent education, but I also at some stage will read and write Armenian. Now I managed somehow or the other to pass the first one and managed to get to medical school, but I miserably failed the second one. So when I happened to be in Dilijan last year, I recognized you could probably get the best education embraced in the Armenian culture and potentially learning Armenian as well. So that's the reason why I thought she will be probably forgive me for miserably failing in what I achieved. And that's the simple reason. And, you know, spending few minutes in the school, and although I've given a talk in the school, some of may remember, you know, an amazing set of students and teachers. And I really would like to acknowledge Gabrielle and his predecessors as well. It's an amazing place you're in. You're very, very lucky. And it's a great privilege to be partly associated with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Darty. This has been such a heartwarming speech. Thank you again. Mr. Olofsson, it is my pleasure to introduce you. Mr. Olofsson is a Swedish entrepreneur, business leader, and philanthropist. He is chairman of the board in Sigma AB. Mr. Olofsson, together with his wife, Mrs. Olofsson, is the initiator and founder of Star for Life. He is also chairman of the nonprofit organization Upstart Malmö. Mr. Olofsson is also the founder of the Thanda Foundation, working with projects in KwaZulu-Natal and in Nelson Mandela's birthplace, Mezo, in Eastern Cape province in South Africa. Mr. Olofsson, thank you for joining us today. The UWC movement is connected with the name of Nelson Mandela, who was its president and then honorary president. Please tell our community why you and your wife, Christine, are passionate about supporting children in Africa.
Yeah, thank you for having the opportunity to join you here. Yeah, you reminded me of Nelson Mandela. He said that education is the most powerful tool to change the world. And I think that what Ruben and Veronica has started with their big heart is a very professional school. And it's amazing to see all you youngsters who have your future in front of you, having the opportunity to go on a fantastic school with a professional education. But I also think that you have a special thing there because you have youngsters coming from all over the world. So you get to know each other, you need to understand different culture, and you understand that as human beings, we have more in common than differs with us. And we could be different, we could have different culture, but we could still understand each other. So I think the school, Dilijan school, is laying a groundwork. And I used to say that the best investment we could do is investment in young people, because they are the ones who's going to build the future. And you get a base here to continue your life and connect with other people. So I think it's a fantastic project that we are proud to be a small part of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olofsson. It's such a pleasure to interact and learn from people like you, even in this Zoom call. Dr. Vartan Grigorian, my pleasure to introduce you. Dr. Grigorian has been president of Carnegie Corporation of New York since 1997. Prior to this, Dr. Grigorian served for 9 years as the 16th president of Brown University. Born in Iran, he was schooled in Iran and Lebanon. He then went to Stanford University, where he majored in history and the humanities. He was awarded a PhD in History and Humanities from Stanford in 1964. Dr. Gregorian has been involved in many causes fighting for justice and equality in the world. Dr. Gregorian has been acknowledged for his tireless humanitarian work. Among his accolades are the National Humanities Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's also an ardent supporter of the causes related to Armenia. Dr. Gregorian is well known to our community. I myself have been present to one of his speeches that I was so inspired. In 2015, he co-founded the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative. Dr. Vartan Gregorian, thank you very much for joining us today. Please tell us why you believe in internationalism and international education are important.
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate and thank all the benefactors and founders of this magnificent college in Armenia. Second, to remind everybody that excellence has no borders. Knowledge has no borders. Quest for liberation has no borders. And it's with pride to welcome this great college on Armenian soil to prove also that we're not exporters, we're also importers. Because since the 11th century, when Armenia diaspora began, we have been building in Crimea, in Ukraine, in Poland, in Hungary, in everywhere in Europe, Russia, in Iran, in Calcutta, all over the world, centers of excellence and joining the elite. So it's about time that Armenia also becomes symbol of international faith in unity of humanity, as what you mentioned, coexistence with everyone, and bringing a kind of internationalization of Armenia. Because we cannot just brag about the fact that Noah's Ark landed in Mount Ararat and therefore everything began in Armenia. But everything should begin from Armenia, also building an international community. So I'm very proud that we are part of international community, share international values, but also excellence, that Armenians also are capable to build, not in foreign lands, but in our own land, a great university, great college that can compete throughout the world. So I welcome all of you who have benefited from this and salute leaders who have investment. This investment, by the way, idea was created 1859 by Grigor Artsruni in the Aurora Borealis publication in Moscow. He said, we have to invest in Armenia because investing in Armenia, investing in humanity in many ways. I'm paraphrasing my own version of it. So I'm very happy, I'm very proud, and I salute and thank all these great benefactors from around the world who have invested in Armenia, but in reality, in youth of the future of the world. So thank you very much and congratulations all of you. Each one of you has proven the fact that you're a unique moment in history and you're going to a unique moment in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gregorian. This was inspiring, and all of the stories of our supporters motivate me personally to study hard and to give back to my community, my country, and to the school. I want to invest in Armenia's future as well, and you motivate me to think and dream of that. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a very inspiring and close person to me, Mrs. Veronica Zonabend. Her dream of creating international educational hub in Armenia gave wings to my dream, and I'm sure to other students who studied in UWC Dilijan. Mrs. Zonabend is the chair of the board of UWC Dilijan. Her husband, Ruben Vartanian, and Veronica are school co-founders and are the driving force behind it. As one of the first students to take advantage of the experience of UWC Dilijan, I am immensely grateful to them for conceiving the idea of the school and for realizing the idea to enable us to avail of the excellent international education.
Thank you, Manana, for the introduction. Thank you, all of you who could participate today, and we are enormously grateful for your support, not only financial, but of kind of support. UWC Dilijan would not be possible without, and became a reality because of support of many like-minded people who invested a lot of their knowledge, efforts, energy, and finances into make it reality. And there's something that seemed to be miracle. In our days, in the time of crisis, the values of UWC, when people can understand each other, can communicate and be together, become even more important than before. And we are very grateful to everyone and each of you who could participate in it and who were with us from the very beginning. And also we see many of you now, and also our alumni, who is the first cohort who graduated from universities and so became ambassadors of Armenia all around the world. And there are many more, and the future is in your hands, and we believe in you and believe that you will make this world better. So I would like to introduce Nubar and Anna Afian, our founding patrons and of UWC Dilijan.
Big friends and partners.
And big friends, and they're all friends, partners, and everything that they have supporting the school since its opening. And they're both members of UWC Dilijan board. And also Anna is also co-chair of the 5th anniversary committee, which is focused on fundraising activities on broadening the base of supporters of UWC Dilijan. And Nubar, Anna.
I want to say thank you again from being together, always 20 years journey, by the way, Nubar. And we've been doing this many projects together. And so happy to see the results, like Manan and many others. Really, I hope can change the world for better.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you, Veronica and Ruben, Ara, Vartan, everybody who's involved here. Thank you for inviting me to say a few words on this special occasion. I will try to make this fast, but there's a few things that I wanted to share. Throughout our lives, many of us have heard the expression, may you live in interesting times. And that always felt like an interesting expression because we always felt like we were living in interesting times. But I don't think any of us expected to be living in these times and what the word interesting means in these times. And that's what I want to talk about. First, my background is as a biological engineer. In addition to my upbringing in an Armenian family, born in Lebanon, raised in Canada, and then the States. Of course, carrying that whole long history, I found myself throughout my life working in life sciences and nature. And what we're dealing with, more particularly with this coronavirus, is probably, at least in anybody alive's lifetime, an unprecedented global battle between one species, the human species, and another, which is a predator that is taking advantage of our social nature. It's precisely because we are social animals and we are connected and mobile in unprecedented ways that we now find ourselves in this battle. In this battle, and those of you who are graduating from UWC Dilijan and students will know, in this battle, humans have one particular technology that's innate, and that's our immune system. And our immune system is our defense against what's going on. And the predator, the virus, has its own advantage, which is long history of evolutionary biology that has armed it to do the damage that it is doing. But humans have another advantage in that we can invent, we can develop technology. And in fact, it is that inventive capacity that is in full display as thousands and thousands of researchers all around the world are collaborating and developing detection techniques, diagnostics, strategies to separate people, to prevent transmission, protective gear, and then ultimately drugs and eventually vaccines, which I'm involved with the development of. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on in the world of developing a vaccine, because a company that I was a co-founder of, that I'm chairman of today, called Moderna, is one of the leaders in pursuing a vaccine against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. 10 years ago, this project started at a time when Ruben and I and others on this call were collaborating in projects in Armenia at the same time. Back in Boston, we started a project, one of many, that attempted to create a new form of medicine based on a molecule that's in every one of our cells called messenger RNA. And at the time, there was no scientific basis to believe that that could be done. And that became an interesting invitation to see whether that could be done. 10 years later, and about $2 billion of R&D investments later, that was made in this private company, we found ourselves in the beginning of this year being invited by various international authorities to consider entering the battle by applying our technology completely unexpectedly to this, what was then not even a pandemic. What we've been doing, hundreds of scientists within this company, 24 hours a day, has been nothing short of a grand experiment in modern science. We have applied our platform to design and prepare in a very safe formulation the vaccine to be tried in healthy volunteers. In a short time of 42 days, we began these trials. And in March, we started dosing 45 volunteers, and now that's expanded to about 100. What we are seeing so far is what makes us cautiously optimistic. Many of you in the audience will not know what it takes to develop a vaccine, but it is truly a very long-term, very complicated, and very treacherous activity, because ultimately you need to make sure that it is extremely safe as it becomes applied to a large number of people. Now, why I'm mentioning this, so we're in the middle of this, and lots of hope and lots of trepidation follows. But why I'm mentioning this is that this is the product, first and foremost, of education, of inspiration, of daring, of collaboration, of innovation, all things that the students at UWC Dilijan are exposed to, and that prepares them for these interesting times. Those of you who are graduating and have graduated recently are entering a world of unprecedented uncertainty. My suggestion is that in many ways, that's a good thing. Because you see, when you're living in a moment of total certainty, most of us will be at a huge disadvantage, because certainty advantages those who already have power, who already have knowledge, who already have the financial means to exploit the certainty. And those who do not, those who want to bring about change, who want to bring about new experiments, new approaches, they relish moments of uncertainty, because that's the great equalizer. And it is just these moments where completely new cultures, arts, mindsets will be born, and many of you should very much see this as the opportunity that it is. To do that, you need to be able to rely on the basic tools you've been given. When it's completely murky, when it's completely invisible, what's going to happen next? Think of it as 100% fog conditions, and you need to drive. You can't see anything. What you do is to use, as a starting point, an educated guess. It's an interesting expression. We all use it. Make an educated guess and then try it and iterate, iterate, iterate. Well, interestingly, the key word in that is not guess, it's educated. It's how can you apply your models, mental models, your preparation in order to make educated guesses, and then the next version and the next version until you discover what works, and then you can bring it to the world. That's the era we're entering. And as a last point, I'll mention what I said a couple of years ago when I was in Dilijan talking to the students, and that is, think of your life, and you've started it in a very good way at UWC Dilijan, as a life of perpetual immigration. It's one thing to physically leave your countries and come to Armenia to get this education, but from there you should remain an immigrant for the rest of your life. Not an immigrant only physically, but intellectually. See, an immigrant is comfortable leaving the comforts of their home and going into an uncertain period, whether they're forced into it or whether they choose to do it. They don't know the language typically, they don't know the customs, they don't know the rules, and they are constantly afraid of failing. And it is that mindset that causes them to experiment, to try, and to prevail. And that immigrant mindset is very much what innovation is all about. So my admonition to you all, my suggestion to you all is stay immigrants intellectually, make educated guesses, and see if this opportunity does not present to you a path forward for the rest of your life. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for your kind and thoughtful words, Mr. Afanyan. We would like to thank you and your wife, Anna Afanyan, for the generous contributions that you have made to our school. I am Anna Zettelmeyer. I am currently in Washington, D.C. I'm a student council member and a rising second year in UWC Dilijan.
And my name is Zach Merida. I'm from the Philippines, also serving on the student council, and a proud member of UWC Dilijan's class of 2021. Today, May 23rd, is a special day. Today is the day that we celebrate all of the efforts and all of the triumphs made by our community over the past academic year. A celebration which, albeit an unusual one, given the circumstances, is made all the more special by the fact that today will not only be celebrated in Dilijan, but also in any place around the world where the community may find itself. In this way, the spirit of the United World College prevails and withstands this test of distance. And so it is only fitting that more than just the year's hard-won victories, we also celebrate the courage it took for us to sacrifice our comfort zones and to weather out these storms. For every lesson successfully delivered, there came with it a painstaking and meticulous planning process amongst the faculty. For every day where the campus we have come to call home runs smoothly, there came with it the consistent and conscientious work of operations. For each stride that UWC Dilijan has made in reaching new frontiers, there came with it the brilliant strategy of the staff that oversee the school's development and its presentation to the world. And ultimately, for every dream achieved by one of our students, there comes with it countless hours of discipline and studying, which enabled them to reach their goals and to continue their journey in being the change they wish to see in the world. In a time where the world is undergoing a sea change in its order and structure, it was this shared grit that saw us through. A grit which we all embodied in our own way, especially over the course of these past 2 months.
Thank you, Zach, for highlighting the positives of this rather difficult situation. I'll be now mentioning what the Student Council has done during this time. So 2 months ago, the Student Council made clear our objective during this time under lockdown, which was to help students feel less detached and in the dark, boost morale, and be there to support. So we decided to dedicate our efforts to maintaining the feedback system, and so that students can raise their concerns and questions, and to encouraging the continuation of some key community meetings that would happen weekly at the college. First, every Monday, all staff and students used to meet to update each other on occurrences around the school, to perform and make announcements. The Student Council felt it vital to keep this virtual forum to remind people that their UWC community is still active and to maintain this platform. We created weekly Monday briefing videos. These are where members of the school community are able to send in pre-recorded performances or morale boosting moments, reminders, and all of possible things to keep our community informed and engaged. Second, we have also encouraged our boarding houses or tunes to meet as they would weekly or when they see fit. Students have then the opportunity to check in with people that they may have not talked to yet, and it also encourages the feeling that we are not completely isolated. The UWC community is still standing by. Finally, the Student Council thought it necessary to keep attending our own meetings and the meetings with the administration to keep some regular communication flow. We also update our Student Council website with information and reminders and tips for lockdown. During this time of confusion, students have understandably many pressing questions and feedback, so we continue to be available to them through either our anonymous feedback system, email, keeping our meetings open as usual, call, text, and everything. Being away from the college can be extremely difficult and can keep you feeling very isolated or in the dark. The Student Council recognizes that, and we wanted to do our part to make this time more manageable for students. But by no means are we alone in this. Many students from the whole community have put in amazing efforts to make this time better and to keep this connection. To name only a few, the Armenian Genocide and Yemen Focus Week groups, the second year social committee for hosting prom, the peer listeners, and many more people who have made incredible videos for all of us to watch and maybe cry about. Thank you so much for amazing second years and my co-years, and congratulations to making it to the end of the school year. We truly have a wonderful community. Thank you.
The school is about the students, and we're very, very proud of our students. They are amazing. Whether you're now home, whether you're still here on campus with us, what a year it's been. Everyone showed goodwill. We stayed involved in all kinds of activities, in online lessons, offline activities, on campus and off campus. With your help, we had virtual town hall meetings where we gathered together as a community. You even celebrated open days where we invited prospective students and their families to our campus. Thank you. Special words to our class of 2020. You showed a huge amount of strength and resilience. We're very proud of you and we wish you the best of luck in your onward journey, and we're looking forward to welcoming you back in the summer of 2025 for your 5-year reunion. I would like to thank everyone who's contacted today via this platform here on campus so we can celebrate as a community the end of a year. And what a year. I'd like to thank the supporters, the board, the 5th anniversary committee, our staff, our students, the families who entrusted the students to us, all of you. Thank you, because Dilijan only makes sense because of you. But before we say goodbye to the year, it's time to celebrate. And in my book, you always have to celebrate with a cake. But before you have a cake, I would like to invite Cindy from the class of 2020 from Dilijan. Cindy.
I am Cindy Landaeta, a graduate Venezuelan student from the class of 2020. The last months have been very tough on everyone. Students who had the opportunity to go back home had to face the disruption of their on-campus experience, even if they didn't want to yet or were not ready for it. There were also the students who, due to the global situation, were not able to go back home, myself included, and the ones you can see in the screen. Regardless of all, it still warms my heart to see our tight-knit community being as supportive, or even more supportive than ever in these tough times. And it is because of them that I feel really thankful for being a part of the class of 2020. From staff to the students who are away and the students who are still here, we have formed a tremendously strong support system for everyone. And ever since the first bus left, I remained impatient for the moment that I would hug my friends again. And I am hopeful that every day that passes is one day closer to reuniting, and not through a video call, with all of you once more. Now I would like to introduce a very dear staff member of us, our University Councillor, Harvey Muller.
Hello, everyone. It has no doubt been a challenging year for each of us, and each of us individually, and for the school as a community. Nevertheless, we stand together and we stand strong. We look forward to staying connected with our graduating class as they pursue their new journeys throughout the world. We also look forward to welcoming back our first years as second years, and we look forward to welcoming to our campus for the first time our new class. We really wish we could be sharing this lovely cake with you all to celebrate the end of the year, but here's to happier times when we will all be together again. See you soon in Dilijan. So do I. Are we still on?
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Congratulations, class of 2020. I wish I was with you there on campus celebrating. I miss UWC Dilijan. We're sending virtual piece of cake to everyone who was with us today. Thank you again.